The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of a different format today because I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I wanted to try to set us up for what's going to happen coming the first of the year. We've got a really big Astro event coming in on Monday and Tuesday, and Norm Winsky will be talking about that today at the half hour break. So we want to watch that very, very closely. Folks, probably the biggest thing happening in just the last few, 24 hours or so of trading is the fact that the U.S. dollar index has broken down. In other words, the euro has started to rally. Now, I'll start out with the DAX like we always do. As you can see here, we've had this move in the DAX that has been more of a downtrend than an uptrend over the past few weeks. But, it's really hard to even say that because we've had a few higher highs and some lower lows. So right now it's, just selling off a little bit, not meaning very much at all. However, the UK has had a, totally different picture here. That's mainly because of the fact that the looks like this Brexit thing is going to come to fruition here, and we've got a three-drive pattern here in the FTSE as we speak right now. So that should tell us that we're nearing some type of at least a minor high, in the FTSEs. Okay, let's just get back to the U.S. dollar index. We have broken some really serious support. I just want to bring this to your attention here because we have broken below the that important head and shoulder pattern that we had back on November 20th. We're now trading down below the 92.30 level. I believe 92.26 is where we're trading right now. That sets up another ABCD pattern down here in the 91.75 level. That is also going to be a very important spot because if you remember in Gartley's book on page 221, he said one of the best trades that you can come up with is to buy the first ABCD correction in a bull market. And if you look at this over the last 5 months, this is the first consistently perfect ABCD correction that we have in the US dollar. You'll notice the high that we had back there at that 94.20 level when we were right at a 61% retracement. That was spot on when the euro was trading at 117. The euro's at 119.50. So this is going to be really interesting here, folks, because coming in here on January 2nd, first we won't be trading, but second and third, we're going to be looking at some really serious patterns in some of these things. So let's put our trading hats on and get ready for it. If you notice on this U.S. dollar chart, the fact that the Treasury notes have had a little bit of a pullback. In other words, interest rates have backed off just a little bit, but it still appears longer term they've got a long way to go. But that's what we're looking at for at least for 2018. I think you're going to see much higher interest rates. But like we mentioned yesterday, this market has been so oversold in the bonds and notes. We were really due, for a pretty good rally. And as you can see here from the next chart that I'm going to bring up here, you'll be able to see it in 1 second here. You'll notice that the notes have had a pretty good rally, and it's only been a 3-day rally. If you go back in early December, you'll see we had another one of those, and then we went lower. Frankly, I think we're going to get a little bit higher here, maybe another point higher in the notes. I'll go into the bonds in just in a second here, but this thing has been, you're talking about a move that went from September through December, so we should get, a pretty substantial move off of this one. In other words, to shake out a few of the weak shorts and then get it started down again. But we'll just do it, little by little. All I know is if we get below that 123 level again, that's going to be very, very negative, to interest rates. Remember, this interest rate market, folks, started in 1982. when bonds were trading at about 55, bonds got to 170 34 years later, and I believe we're starting a new leg down in interest in bonds, i.e., higher interest rates. The actual interest rates topped a year and a half ago when we were trading at that 170 level in the bonds, and right now they're at the 150 level. Since we're talking about the bonds here, I wanted to bring this to your attention. Oh, I hope I did. I got it all ready to go, and what happened? It disappear on me again? Oh, shut the front door and raise the rent. Yep, it did. Doggone it. I'll have to post it right after the break here to get it going. Let's move on to the gold market here, folks. You know, we've been very bullish gold since the 1238 level. We've had a pretty good run in gold for 2 weeks now. This is the second week, and we're probably going to close higher again today and tomorrow. But I wanted to point out to you, with the XAU, is a little bit different. And that's part of the fact that this is really a slow time for stocks. But you'll notice yesterday, with gold being up $6, the XAU couldn't even make a higher high and actually closed lower on the day at 85.32. That could be the first sign that we're getting ready to see a correction here in this gold market. But this correction is going to be very interesting, because we believe there's a chance for this gold to really have legs here in 2018. We've been going down. Our high was in April of 2011. So we're 6 years down into this thing, and we've had some higher bottoms here these last 2 years. The first one at 10.30 an ounce, the second one at 11.30 an ounce, and now we have the third higher bottom at 12.30 an ounce. So each of them $100 higher than the previous. That could be something, you know, very, very positive. You know, then that's, you know, this could change overnight, of course, but right now that's what it looks like, you know, from the cheap seats. Anyway, we'll watch it very, very closely. It will be something to really be you know, watching. Well, I keep saying watching, but we're going to be trading it. Let's put it this way. One of the problems you have is when you get out of a position and it goes higher. And you know, we got out of our gold at the 1286 level, and we were looking you know, for a correction to come there. Now we're at 1293. And we're still looking for a correction. That doesn't mean that we're not going to stop waiting. We're just going to, you know, just keep watching. And of course, we've got the last day of the year tomorrow, which will be a slower session because the stock indices close about 2 hours early, I believe, because the stock market closes early. So we'll have a lot of things to do coming in here on the 2nd of January. There should be some really big things. And Norm Winsky will be on at the break to, you know, break down some of these things that we're looking at as far as astral things coming in, and they're all related to the lunar cycle, which is one of our favorite cycles to look at. So those are the key things, you know, to be looking at. But remember, this is thinner trading, folks. About as yesterday was about as slowest day of the year. Today will be even probably the same. So there's just not a lot of interest because people take holidays. You know, that's basically, you know, what you're looking at here. So we'll watch it very, very closely. When we get back from the break, I want to talk a little bit more about the foreign currency markets and next year's outlook. 877-927-6648.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profile So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about the volatility index from one of our listeners up just north of North Dakota, up in the Canadian area. And what we're going to do is to try to give you an idea of what we think is happening here. The volatility index, the VIX, has a lot of obituaries written about it, because every time the market goes higher, people say this index doesn't, really mean much anymore. But it's been around for a long time, and I personally think that it's still okay. What is the most interesting to me is the fact that the Dow Jones has gone 2,000 points, and the VIX index has not made new lows. That is a really surprise to me. And I think that people are still taking some type of protection, like an insurance policy against it. But it is one of those things that we looked at yesterday about the bubbles. The fact that this lack of volatility has been a minor bubble itself. The fact that we have not had any really big spikes in this to speak of over the last several years. But the most amazing thing is the fact that we've gone up so much higher in the stock market, and yet the VIX is held relatively close. And believe me, folks, that's not unprofessional buying down there, because those folks are taking protection on something. That's my opinion, of course. That's all I really wanted to bring it. I think the VIX is going to show some real wild swings here in 2018, and that remains to be seen. But we'll have to look at it. There's no reason for anybody to sell anything until first of the year. We've already talked about that, so keep an eye on it. The second thing is that there was a big article today about the fact that Disneyland lost their electricity, which is really surprising, because they have their own energy plant right on the premises there in Anaheim. Brings back a lot of memories to me for two reasons. One, in 1955, when Disneyland opened, that was the first time, I believe, ever that the Dow Jones had been up 6 months in a row. We've just completed the second phase of that today. When I was in Terre Haute, Indiana back then in early July, my buddy and I, Buckwheat Thompson, we hitchhiked all the way to Anaheim. Our first stop was in Kansas City, Missouri. I left Terre Haute with $50 that I had saved for the whole summer, and we got to Bob's grandma's house, and she had a huge, big old house in Kansas City, and in the attic was all kinds of these coat hangers, these wire and wooden coat hangers. And when I saw that, my eyes lit up, and she said, "Gee, I'd like to get rid of all that stuff." And boy, I knew exactly what to do. I went to a couple of cleaners and dry cleaners, and they offered me 1 cent for the wire ones and 5 cents for the wooden ones. And when we finished down cleaning out that attic 2 days later, we had collected $250, 100 and a quarter each. So when I got back to Terre Haute 5 weeks later, I still had $50 in my pocket and had a lot of fun. So that's when my first entrepreneurial business was selling those coat hangers. But times are a whole lot different these days. Okay, let's move on to another question that we've had about Tesla. I posted the chart about Tesla yesterday. It's still going down. It's trading at around, I'll put it up here so we can take a look at it. We're trading at around 310 right now. Just give me 1 second. There we go. And we'll get the, I believe the last price I saw this morning was around 310. And the question is, is this going to make it? Folks, I have no idea. That's like asking the question, do I know what's going to happen with Bitcoin? Which I have no idea about that either. I'm just a chartist. That's all I'm looking at. I really don't know anything more than that. I don't read the economic reports. I watch what happens after them and stuff, but I just look at the bar charts, and that's really what I'm looking at. Let's take a quick look here at Bitcoin because it just completed a major pattern. We talked about it yesterday. We went right up. If you'll look at this, folks, where the 61% retracement comes in, that's a perfect ABCD pattern. And what did we do? We're coming down now. We're trading around 14,100 right now. There's a really nice, pullback here at 13,500, 13,450. So we're going to watch that. But the key here is that if we get below that 11,500 level, you're going to be looking at a very large ABCD pattern because we went from 20. Well, let's just say 19,005 down to 10,000, 11,000. So that's 750 points. So if you subtract 750 points from 16,500, you're going to get 9,000, and that's going to be down to the double bottom that we made back in December. And if we break that double bottom, we're probably going to make a 1.27 or 1.618. The reason why I'm bringing these up to you is because I believe this blockchain technology stuff is going to be here, so we should start to follow some of them because the patterns are there. That tells us that the public is certainly, looking at all this stuff. So I think we have to pay attention to it, and that's why we'll keep looking at it. But right now, it's holding relatively well. And there is going to be some, Korea came out and said they were going to regulate. And of course, if South Korea is going to do it, the next one to do it will probably be China. I think they've already even done it too. But there's going to be some regulation there. But it's still the wild, wild west in these things, folks. When you got 1,200 of these companies out there, trying to do something, some of them are going to make it and most of them aren't. So what we're trying to do is to filter some of these things out to give you some information about it. And boy, this Bitcoin technology is not the easiest thing in the world to grasp. But the same was true of the internet. If you remember the internet 20 years ago, that was also something that was hard to grasp. One of the things that I listened to yesterday, it was day before yesterday, one of the PhDs from Harvard was on talking about Amazon and how they basically had a monopoly on the internet, and that they're going into all these different businesses with virtually no regulation, and then they also talked about the fact that Google owns the internet, and they do because 93% of the searches come through Google, and then he also mentioned about Facebook, about how these companies really have a monopoly or at least an oligopoly on some of these things, and the government has so far done very little, which is a good thing. The less government intervention we have, I think the better off we will be. That's for sure. Getting back to the currencies here a little bit, we've had this one in the Australian dollar that has had one big move here. We've reached 78 now in the Australian dollar. Our first objective on this would be at 78.80. That's the 61% retracement of the move coming back. So we'll watch it very, very closely so we can be looking at it. I can see that we had a nice talk yesterday about cocoa yesterday, and Mr. Z pointed out to us that we were very, very close to a bottom in cocoa, and boy, sure enough, it certainly has had a pretty good move. We'll be watching cocoa a little bit more, even though I don't trade the hot chocolate. We'll still be watching it because it's a relatively low risk trading vehicle. The cost down here below 1900 is relatively cheap, and we'll be watching it closely because there might be some good opportunities there. I don't even know if they have an ETF for cocoa. I knew they have one for sugar and corn and cows and stuff like that, but I don't really know. Speaking of cows, the cattle are acting really nicely thanks to Mr. Z. They're up a couple of cents, and looks like they're going to go higher yet. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Norman Astro-trend Winsky from Naples, Florida in just a few moments.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I believe we have Norm Winsky of Astro-trend on the line. Norm, are you there?
Yes, sir, Larry. Good morning.
Good morning and a happy new year to you, my friend.
You too.
Hey, we have a question from one of our listeners before you get started off, and that is, if you had to pick one thing astrologically to look at, what would it be?
I guess the moon.
Okay, you're on target. Go ahead. You start the show. Right. You're in control. Fire away.
I'd like to suggest we hold all questions to the end because I got a lot of material to get through. Okay?
Okay.
That's okay. All right, so I was on your show on Monday morning, the 18th, a few hours after the new moon. The new moon, I think, was at 1:30 in the morning. And so I'm going to review real quickly what I talked about then in the markets. So the moons, the full moon, new moon, you want to watch for in general. Then I also have specific indications, but generally you want to watch at the full moon, new moon, your financials, grains, and precious metals. They tend to have changes and trends at the new moon or full moon. We had a new moon Monday morning, the 18th. I have it indicated here as 15th. That was a Friday after the close, so that's over the weekend. There's 1:30 a.m. on the 18th. And so let's go. We're also going to look at what came on your show and said, watch. I also got important things happening for the night of the 19th into the 20th. Venus was going in 0 south latitude. We'll be looking at those markets too. And then we had one more event right at that same window. We had Saturn entering Capricorn, which only occurs once every 29 and a half years. So that's pretty important too. So here's the things I talked about. Here's a financial T-bonds. Look at the green arrow there. It shows you that was the 15th, and over the weekend, if you pull up your intraday, your 30-minute bars and so forth, as a daily chart, you'll see that you had a chance to sell it there near the high on Sunday night. And then it just started going down on Monday morning. Here's your dollar index. You were just talking about that, Larry. Look how all the lines converge there for a nice top right there. Mm-hmm. Right where the, right there, it was on the, on the 18th, Monday the 18th. There it is. Right there where the green arrow is. There's a nice top there, and it's been down ever since. But, just to address what you just showed there a minute or two ago with the dollar index, if you were looking for some kind of bottom in the dollar index, if it continues down into the full moon, which we're going to be talking about here in a minute, that's going to be over the New Year's weekend, then you might want to wait a few days for that. You might be looking at a bottom here in a few days. All right, here's your corn. The grains have been very narrow and hard to make any money. If you just glance through your chart and say, gee, how could we ever make any money on these grains? But guess what? Look where the low of the month was, right there on that new moon. Back on the 18th, there was, I think, a double bottom there, 2 days in a row where it made the same low for, I think it was 346 and a half. I think it's hard to read that digits there, but I know it bottomed the same penny, same fraction of a penny, 2 days in a row. I think the 18th and the 19th, and then it's moved up since then. Here's your gold. Gold did not go. I think every now and then you get like a mega turn. I think we had one of those for the gold back on my super day. If you remember, back on I had the 11th as like a mega date, and the gold liked that one. It made its low the next day and has been up ever since. And so it tended to ignore the moon. Not going to be not batting 100% here. Believe it or not, this is wrong every now and then.
Hey, when you got the 11th, that's the one that everybody likes. So keep going. You're doing fine.
Right. There you go. Here's your cattle. Cattle made I put it through the moon in there. It wasn't a lunar date. It was the Venus. I had the Venus thing over the night of the 19th and into the 20th. And there's your moon date, though. I thought I threw that in as an extra bonus because of the holidays, And there's your moon top right there on the, I think, the 18th. And then it went down to the Venus point right there on the 20th. So there you go. I had a chance to go short there at the moon and buy the Venus, and then it moved back up. You did that, and you'd have enough money to go get a hamburger,
Just about any country in the world. Go ahead, my friend.
All right, there you go. And you could, maybe a supersize too, Okay, so here's the cotton. Here's the cotton. Cotton's had a nice thing there on the moon, made a little top there, and made a little bottom right there. And then accelerated upside after my Venus point here, right on the 19th. It bottomed, on the 19th rather than the 20th. But even if you waited till the 20th, you were still near the bottom. I think the difference on that trade was 3 points on the cotton. What was that, like $15 in real money? Something like that.
Yeah.
So, yep. So here's your sugar. Sugar, the end of this consolidation here was on the 19th. And then if you put a little trend line there and you had a breakout there, and then it was rocket time, That's how, remember Jackie Gleason, how sweet it is,
Yeah. Oh, is that a little Christmas time joke?
I guess. I don't know.
Go ahead, Norm. I'm sorry. I actually met Jackie Gleason once, but that's another story. Go ahead.
Okay, wheat. Here we go. Here's your wheat. And let's see, we got the 20th, because it's associated also with, in addition to the lunar cycles, it's associated with Venus. And you can see, made a little dip, one day you pull back there on the wheat, right, on the 20th. And here's your coffee, because that's the Saturn thing. It's associated with Saturn. And then you made a little top here. Now, I want to talk about the coffee just for a moment, in that sometimes you have these big cycles, and on a very short-term basis, they'll make like a top here, but I believe that the big picture for the coffee was it's going down, down, down. I think what we might have here is like a W bottom in the middle of the W with a little peak. It was the exact date, but you might be in the bigger picture, might be actually making a low here, and I think it could be a long time before you see 118, 120 on coffee again. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm. That's a very interesting pattern, Norm. That's a good point.
So, 6 months from now, a year from now, you look back and go, wow, December of 2017, that was a big deal for coffee, All right, now we can look ahead into the future. I'm going to gaze into my crystal ball here, tell you what's happening. So right today, this says the 27th after the close. That means this stuff is happening overnight into the day. And you might want to jot down these markets. So we have limited time, so I'm not going to go into them too much, but we have the cocoa, and some of these repeat when I talk about the full moon here in a minute. Cocoa, corn, gold, hogs, oats, OJ, silver, stocks, T-bonds. Look for these markets if they are at an extreme, and that's a possible good setup for a change in trend here. Some of these, since they are repeating over the weekend, might be double bottoms, double tops, so forth. So look for some sort of extreme. A little spike top, spike bottom, that kind of thing for a possible reversal. Then we have, after the close Friday into the weekend, over the New Year's weekend, as you alluded to earlier, we have, I think it's Monday night and early Tuesday morning, we got the full moon at perigee, and this is the big one. This is the one that's really tight. It's like 4 hours difference between the full moon and the perigee. And then early Tuesday morning, just ahead of the markets open, Uranus turns direct. That's a station point, and that's one of my top things for change in trend points. And especially outer planets, Uranus is an outer planet, and it's going to be turning direct. So that combination, by the way, of a full moon at perigee with Uranus doing its thing, that could bring natural disasters, seismic activity. You might have earthquakes, volcanoes.
Wow. Merry Christmas. Hey, listen, stay with us. We got some more of Norm Winski of Astro-trend. We'll be right back.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Think or Swim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, brought to you by Nadex. Next on TFNN.
Okay, folks, we're back with Norm Winsky of Astro-trend. Norm, we have a quick question, and then I'll let you continue. You've mentioned on our show before the importance of the retrograde motion of some of these planets, and in particular, Uranus. Could you explain a little bit more about that? The listener would like to know.
Okay, it's the general category is station points when planets go either stop to turn retrograde or go direct. That's due to the relative motion of the Earth to the other planets. It's just like you're driving in your car, you're doing 60, somebody passes you, you're doing 70. Even though you look at your speedometer and say it says you're doing 60, you look out your side window and all of a sudden you might have the impression that you're stopped and maybe even going backwards by 10 miles an hour. Okay. That's what's happening. We're all going around the sun at different speeds, the different planets, including the Earth. And so as we pass planets or they pass us, we get the impression that, oh, if you plot them in the night sky, that they have stopped their motion and reversed the direction. So there's two kinds of station points. One where it stops to go forward, that's stationary direct, and when it stops to go backwards, that's stationary retrograde. Uranus is going to be stationary direct. It's been going backwards, retrograde, and it's going to stop to go forward early Tuesday morning.
Fair enough.
Okay. And I believe that causes some kind of shock wave to the system, you know.
Okay. Who was the first person ever to talk about retrograde and direct motion? Do you know the first astrologer?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I know. Okay. I just know. I think I'm probably the only person who ever equated these with changes in trends in the market.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And also fix the Bradley model to account for that. Bradley never accounted for that, which flips your Bradley often will flip your Bradley model upside down.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So anyway, we have our usual suspects here, mostly a lot of the same markets for these 2 points here, and then we have the full moon, and we have Uranus turning direct, and we have the moon, the full moon at perigee, so that could be very powerful. Well, and one of the indications is with Uranus turning direct, the market that is associated with Uranus is copper. And in a minute, here we go. Here's your copper chart on the top of page 4, Larry. And you know what we like to look for is markets that are getting an extreme where they've been going up, 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 or down, down, down. And I think copper might. I think copper kind of fits the bill, don't you?
Yeah, it's in an extreme for sure.
There you go. So I think now one of the things that happened here back on the it's also associated with Venus, and we were looking for a possible change in trend. Well, it actually broke out over this little downtrend line here, right about the 20th. And what happens though is when it doesn't reverse and it accelerates like that, what you can do is take the length of that move and often double it or do a Fibonacci harmonic. If you do 1.618 times this move from the bottom to that breakout point, I think you get to about 335 area. And if we did a double, that would take you to, I think, about 345. So watch for those, see the little red line I have there at the top of the channel. That's a possible target about 335 in the next couple days or over the weekend, you know?
Okay.
So that's definitely gotta say copper's getting a little overbought here, and we're getting to extreme, and Uranus is turning direct early Tuesday morning. So I think that might be a primo market to look at, you know.
That's a good one. We'll be watching that one very closely, Norm. Thanks. Keep going, my friend.
Okay, Copper, come out with your hands up. Oh, the Cagnon.
Oh, us boys from Terre Haute, we don't have new material, but what we do have is good. So go ahead, Norm.
There you go. There you go. Here's your S&P 500. Been going sideways, but if it's been holding this line here, and if we can pop up into the weekend, I think we could get a nice setup for a nice top early, you know, like Tuesday morning, you know. But we need to see a nice rally. The bigger the rally, the bigger the possible reversal. You know, it's the Newton's law. And for every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction. You know, if it continues going sideways, then it's probably gonna be a mirror image, and I can't tell you that it's gonna do much then. You know. Mm-hmm. But I think we got a chance here for a rally into the next 2 days. So let's keep your fingers crossed we can get a good setup. You know. Okay, there's your S&P 500. Okay, moving ahead here now. Now I'm going to go on a whole different tangent here and show you how you can use this stuff to trade intraday. So let's look at yesterday real quick, and I'm going to do this a really shortcut way. You know, obviously I have several turns every day, all day long. I do these. I send out the daily page, which I'll show you here in a moment, with the different times during the day, and I send these all out at one time for an entire month in advance. So yesterday, here's your E-mini, S&P E-mini, topped U.S. Eastern time at 11:01 a.m. There it is. Okay, and here's the bottom of the day. It was at 3:47 p.m. There you go, where the green arrow is right there. There's a double bottom there between a little earlier and the 3:47. There's your prices there. Now let's go look at what I sent out a month in advance. Okay, down the Geo and the Helio guys. The Geo is from the point of view of the Earth, and you got your Helio guys, planets from the point of view of the Sun. They were kind of taking the day off. Not a heck of a lot happening here. When you take my class, we'll go into more detail. And by the way, you can learn how to do this in about 15 to 20 minutes in my class. And you'll be. I've had people tell me, well, 1 to 2 days they're making money off of this stuff. So down here now we have three categories. We have geocentric from the point of view of the Earth. We have heliocentric from the point of view of the Sun. And let's see if we have any of these times match up with the times I just gave you for the turns for the high or the low of the day for the S&P. There's 358. No, that wasn't right. 143. Nope. But down here in the U.S. natal, that's based on taking a picture of the planets at the time of the formation of the USA, July the 4th, 1776. Look, we have an 11 a.m. That's off by 1 minute. I think that might be acceptable, good enough for government work, right, Larry?
I think so.
And guess what else we have? We have, I got 245 and the turn 240, yeah, 245. I think I was within 2 minutes of the low there. You see that?
Yep.
So that's pretty good. So anyway, you might think, oh, he just picked yesterday because it's a winner. Well, I'm going to give you tomorrow too. I mean today. Get my days mixed up. All right, here's the 28th. Here's your the date at the top right corner there. Here's your times. You can write them down. See if they work. There's moon lining up with Uranus. You can learn all these symbols. I know they look like Greek right now if you're not familiar with these, but you can learn these. In my class, I give you a whole decoder box with all the symbols and where you can learn these, and then if you practice for a few days, you'll have it down.
Moon Uranus was one of the favorites of Dr. Ruth Miller, who helped me with astrology, so that's a good one to look at. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead, Norm.
No problem. She was. I liked her. She was a friend of mine. She was a great lady. Yep. Had a lot of fun with Dr. Ruth. Okay, so 123. There you go. Here's your times. Over here, I forecast a month in advance what might happen that day. Now, so we all know this. My Bradley model actually comes from my doing all these daily pages and drawing a line, adding up the numbers for the planets. And then I do a summary chart, which is kind of my version of the Bradley model. And so it's been quite accurate this month. But sometimes the line is upside down. I'm hoping this line is upside down and that we can get a nice rally here today. You know, potential is on the Dow Jones. These are Dow Jones points. We might have a potential here for 100 points today. Okay, so there's your times for the day. I have over here after the close, different point levels for the different markets for after the close of the day and so forth. So here's your times. Okay. So anyway, so I'll teach you how to do all this when you take my free class. And speaking of that, if you've heard me before, you know that you can get a free trial to my letter And the class goes with that. It's individual class. I probably should be charging thousands of dollars, but I'm crazy that way. I'm giving it away for free. My wife says, "Why do you do that? You must be crazy."
Hey,
So
listen,
anyway,
Norm, we got to pay a few bills. Stay with us, and we'll finish up, and you can tell folks how you can get in touch with you and more about your course.
Okay.
Okay? We'll be right back
sir.
with Norm Winski of Astro-trend. Happy meeting.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're talking with Norm Winski of Astro-trend. Norm, why don't you give us a little couple-minute review of how the folks can reach you and what you offer?
Great. Before I do that, I forgot to say something earlier. If you go look at your S&P chart, you'll see it made its high of the month also on that Monday the 18th. I think the Dow and the S&P both topped on Monday the 18th, and they had a retest on that Venus date on the right around the 20th, 21st there. All right. If you don't know me, if you're new to Larry's show, I've been around a long time. I started studying the stock market when I was a teen back in 1966. I ended up going, to make a long story short, ended up in Chicago in 1975, bought a seat on a fledgling exchange called the Chicago Board Options Exchange. Later on, traded on the Board of Trade, so I have a little bit of experience. I did that for 12 years, and I decided it'd be nicer to sit in a nice chair with my feet up in a warm place, and so I escaped Chicago, and now I live in Florida. So I've been doing this a long time, been doing the astrology since my college days. And so I think, and by the way, this stuff is not, it looks complicated. I understand. You look at this stuff, it looks foreign, it looks complicated, but there's nothing there that if you made it through grade school, you can do this. I promise you. You'll learn it in a very short amount of time. I do an individual class. That's key. We need for you to contact me right away because I get people signed up. I can only help about half a dozen people a month. And so the first people to contact me gets first dibs on when we're going to do the class, usually in the early part of the month. So if you call me today or tomorrow, I can put you in the line there to get the class next week. It's all free. And if you mention Larry, it'll give you the double your money back guarantee. That's a joke. It's all free. It is free. All right. All right. So anyway, so here's my contact info. Here's my phone number, 239-594-3939. There's my email on the screen there. Hopefully you can see that. And Winsky at embarkmail.com. Or you can call me on Skype at norm.winsky,
Shana Tova, my friend. Shana Tova.
There you go. Happy New Year, everybody, and looking forward to helping you.
Thank you,
Thanks
folks.
a lot, Larry.
We'll see you all next year. May God bless.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.